Hey guys, Jody Myers here. Thanks so much for coming back today and joining me for this study on content. We're going to be doing this for about 5 or 6 days. And if you missed yesterday's video, I want to encourage you to go back. I share my story and the journey that I've had with this subject matter, which is why I'm so excited to share this with you. But we're sharing from the book The Power of I Am by Joel Osteen. And I know that I talk about his stuff a lot, but I guess I kind of try to keep my mind in a lot of his books just because I have a tendency to make things complicated. And he has an amazing gift for making things simple. And so as I read his things, it really helps me to keep my mind untangled and helps me to be able to, I feel like it just helps me be able to teach more effectively. Because it's just simple, straightforward, and not convoluted, which is the opposite of the way I tend to talk. So anyway, that doesn't even matter, but here we go. So, but basically today I'm just going to read for a few minutes. I'll share a couple thoughts on that, give you a few action steps, and that'll be that. So today's subject is learn to enjoy the season that you're in. Living content. It's good to have dreams and goals. It's really important to have dreams and goals. We should be stretching our faith, believing for something bigger. But here's the key. When we're waiting for things to change, waiting for promises to come to pass, we shouldn't be discontent where we are. Maybe you're believing to have a baby, believing for a new house, or believing to get married. That's great, but don't go the next 5 years discontent being single, discontent with the house you have, or discontent not having a child. Learn to enjoy the season you're in. Being unhappy, frustrated, and wondering if something new is ever going to change, wondering if something is ever going to change, isn't going to make it happen any sooner. In fact, it'll probably delay it a whole lot longer from personal experience. When we're discontent, we're dishonoring God. We're so focused on what we want that we're taking for granted what we have. The right attitude is, God, I'm believing for a new house, but in the meantime, I'm happy with the house I have. I'm believing to get married, but in the meantime, I'll be content being single. I'm believing for a better job, but I'm happy with the job I have right now. The Apostle Paul says, I have learned to be content, whether I'm abased or abounding, whether I have plenty or whether I'm in need. Notice he had to learn to be content. It doesn't happen automatically. It's a choice we have to make. Being content doesn't mean that we don't want change, that we give up on our dreams, or that we settle where we are. It doesn't mean we're complacent. It means we're not fighting everything. We're not frustrated. We're trusting God's timing. We know he's working behind the scenes, and at the right time, he'll get us exactly to where we're supposed to be. In fact, I found some situations will not change until we change. As long as we're frustrated, stressed out, thinking, why is it taking so long? Why am I still dealing with this problem? Why is my husband still aggravating me? Nothing will change. But if God has us in a situation, we must need to be there. He's going to use it to do a work in us. When we're content, we're growing. We're developing character. Our faith is being strengthened. You don't grow as much in the good times when everything's going your way. That's so sad, but it's so true. You grow when there's pressure. You grow when you feel like being sour, but you choose to be happy. You could easily complain, but instead you say, Lord, thank you for another great day. All your dreams haven't come to pass, but you choose to enjoy the season you're in. That is passing the test. That's what allows God to go to work. Instead of trying to change the situation, let the situation change you. There's something wrong if we're always discontented. I don't like my job. I'm tired of the small apartment. I don't have enough help with the kids. When is my business ever going to grow? That's going to keep you right where you are. Complain and remain, right? Right? Remember? God's plan for our life is not to just make us comfortable, but to grow us up, to mature us, so he can release more of his favor and more of his blessing in our lives. You may not like where you are, but you wouldn't be there unless God had a purpose for it. So make sure you pass the test. Yeah, don't take the test over and over like I've done. That's just so not fun. Get off the mountain. All right. Number one, a couple key points I just wanted to review. Number one, when we're discontent, we're dishonoring God. We're so focused on what we want that we're taking for granted what we have. And contentment is a choice. It's something that we learn by practicing it. It's not automatic. Let me say that again. Contentment's a choice. It's something that we learn by practicing it. It's not automatic. It just doesn't automatically come to people. And maybe it comes more easily to some than others based on a whole different variety of factors. But, everyone who chooses to be content literally chooses to be content. Yesterday I shared my own personal story. Well, how about this? You know that old Bible law of sowing and reaping? Guess what? Yesterday I shared with you how I spent the first 35 years of my life discontent in chasing achievement under the influence of that whole when this happens, then I'll be happy mindset. Well, guess what? I watched my son follow in my footsteps, reap the benefits of that awesome seed sown. And honestly, for years, I watched him suffer through unhappiness of that same spirit. When I have more friends, when I get a PS2, when I get an Xbox, when I get an Xbox One, when I get my driver's license, when I'm allowed to drive further, like all the way to Harrisburg and back, then I'll be happy. And it was heartbreaking, honestly, to watch my son struggle with that same thing that I had struggled with for so many years. But praise Jesus that God always answers our prayers and that he's ever faithful to his word. And so once I recognized that spirit on him for what it was, I dug into the word and I began declaring over him and praying. And it was really powerful and awesome to watch God eventually just really turn the tide in him and bring him to the place where my son became happy and content. And now, it is literally like a different person. He never smiled before. He's always moping and downtrodden. And he's like, if you never knew Caleb before he went through this transformation, you wouldn't believe that he's actually the same person because he is so light and easy and happy and just filled with joy and looking for the good things. And it's so amazing the transformation that happens in our lives when we choose to let go of discontentment, develop a heart of gratitude, and begin to appreciate the life that we've been given while we're on our way to wherever it is that we're going. It's such a powerful thing. So I have 3 little action steps here if you want to jot them down real quick to help you to begin the process of cultivating contentment in your heart and in your home. So I'll be real quick here. But the first one is, and I talked about this last week, I talked about it in posts, I talked about it in a short little video, but this is so crucial, I think, to almost any change that we want to see in our lives, and that is learning to cultivate sincere, genuine gratitude in your heart. Not just, okay, it's almost Thanksgiving, so I'm going to think of one thing every single day that I'm thankful for. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a lifestyle of gratitude, a heart of gratitude. So I just have written here, if this is something that you've struggled with, like I struggled with this, obviously, for at least 35 years, but I struggled with this for a really long time. I just want to encourage you to take a few minutes at the beginning of each day or even right before you go to bed, just to give thanks, just to, if it's nighttime, to just thank God for the things that he did do for you in the day. I mean, don't talk about all the things that went wrong. Focus on those things that went right that day. And, and really give thanks for that. Give thanks for what you do have. Either begin the day that way like I do or right before bed. Even better, you can start a gratitude journal so that you can keep a record of how God moves in your life as you really begin to cultivate this attitude of gratitude. And I'll tell you what, that attitude, the heart of gratitude is critical to finding peace and contentment in your life. All right, number 2. What can you do to get your eyes off your circumstances? What can you do to get your eyes off of your circumstances? Can you go serve someone? There's nothing better when you're feeling like bleh, crap. Let's just say that. To go do something for somebody else. What can you give? Can you learn something? Doing something for someone in need is key to a breakthrough when you're really stuck in a rut, when things aren't going your way, when nothing's happening. Who needs something that you have to offer today? What can you do? Okay. And number 3, get your eyes on God. Like a magnifying glass, what you focus on will magnify. Think about it. You take your magnifying glass and you put it down to the words, and the words get really big, right? Or the insect or whatever it is that you're looking at under that magnifying glass. Like it's so big, and you just like zoom in and it's like all you can see. Well, when you're looking at your problems that way, guess what? They're magnified. They're big. They're growing, or at least they appear bigger. They appear like they're growing. But if you can shift your focus, take that magnifying glass and put it on God instead of your problems, then God is what becomes bigger. And what is God? God is the answer. He is the solution. He's everything that you need to overcome that situation that is causing the discontentment, the unhappiness, the struggle, the pressure in your life. God is the solution, and he's the answer. So instead of magnifying your issues, magnifying all the things that are driving you crazy, start magnifying God. Get your eyes on him. Get your eyes on the answer. The best way to shrink a problem is to quit focusing on it so that it can shrink back to its normal size. All right. So I want you to remember today that contentment is a choice. Contentment is a choice. It's about learning how to enjoy where you are while you're on the way to where you're going. So check down below here for some scriptures to back up today. There's some questions there for you if you want to delve a little bit deeper. But if this message helped you in any way, I just want to encourage you to share it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm Jody Myers, helping you get unstuck and back on the path to your dreams.